Hey soldiers, today we're taking a quick look at the gigantic new map called Altis for the Arma 3 beta and seeing what sticks out. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Altis. This just came out either today or yesterday, depends on when I put this video out, but it came out extremely recently, and it's only in the developer build of Arma 3 for now, and it is a very large territory. Just think of it this way. Altis, or Stratus, is 20 square kilometers, and Altis, this map right here, is 270 square kilometers. It's just an enormous area, enormous space. And we see a number of differences right out from the get-go. We see a number of very flat plains, which is not something you see a whole lot of on Stratus. It's very mountainous and has a lot of valleys and a lot of rocky terrain. And here we see just looking at our contour lines, some very flat surfaces. In fact, the area that I'm in right now, as we look around, I'm in this beautiful little Black Hawk or Ghost Hawk right now, and it's very flat, very flat. Now you have some of this vegetation that you could use to conceal your movement if you had to, depending on whatever your mission or objective is. But this is very different from Stratus, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. Now, as we move over toward this area, we start to see some mountainous terrain, and that's kind of throughout the entire island. It's like you'll have mountainous terrain, not too mountainous, and then flat land. Lots of it. Look at this. This is almost entirely very close to sea level right here. It's very, very flat. I can only imagine hitting top speed with some of these vehicles. You know, obviously avoiding some of the vegetation, but it's going to be interesting. We also see a lot of paved roads in comparison to Stratus. Stratus was all about those dirt roads, and they're very difficult to drive on, at least at any high speed, because if it wasn't for the fact that you'd slip off the dirt roads easily, there was the fact that most of the roads were located on some kind of mountainous terrain to where you could easily fly off the side and lose control of the vehicle. And it doesn't seem to be the case here. Now we're going to fly around here a little bit and get a little bit of lay of the land. This is going to be my first time flying around this island, so I'm just going to be giving my first thoughts. Seeing a nice little airbase right here, and I noticed another one that was over here. No, that's not an airbase. I think it was up here to the upper right. Here we go. The Molos airfield. So we have a number of reoccurring elements. That's going to be great when it comes to forming bases in like a Wasteland scenario, or just really wherever your imagination takes you. So let's start flying around a little bit. Get our Ghost Hawk up in the air and see what kind of sticks out to me. See if my map knowledge holds true to the lay of the land. I mean, as here we see just the. Let me turn my sound down just a little bit. These helicopters can get loud. And there we go. Okay, so we can see flat land. Look at that. Look at the very flat. Now it's going to seem, a little bit exaggerated looking at it from above, but I think this is going to give tremendous advantage, even more so to vehicles. On Stratus, you kind of had this up and over, just rotation, or just whenever you got into a vehicle, you would go up a hill really slow and then down the hill super fucking fast and not try and crash into something, and then up the hill again. And here you really see that you could hit some top speed. Something will actually slow down over. Come back over to this town of some sort right here. That does look interesting. You know, when it comes to forming bases here in Altis, you're no longer exactly looking for the highest area and building walls around it. Now you really gotta watch your flanks, and I really think it's going to be interesting. I'm seeing some reoccurring elements with the buildings, but that's to be expected. As we can see, that little graveyard area looks very familiar to what's comparable on Stratus. And some of the building layouts also look very similar. I want to get over here to this airfield, put an objective marker on it, and see what that looks like. That's 9 kilometers away. Let's push this thing and see how fast we can fly. Oh, look at the windmills. That's interesting. I wonder if those can come down. That's always my first thought. That looks cool. Can I blow it up? I'm telling you, this is incredible. This is just an awesome playground that they've released. And I can't wait to see what comes out of it for sure. This kind of landscape seems familiar from Altis, but this landscape right here certainly does not. This could definitely be a sniper's just favorite area, but it is going to be difficult to find that much of a vertical advantage, I would say, as a sniper, given how flat it is. I mean, sure, you have some hills, but I mean, how far of a reach are you actually going to have? They're not that high up, as we can see. But I still think it's going to be fun if you have a weapon with some range to it. I think it's going to be necessary. About 5 kilometers out, and we're coming across another town here to our left. And that's an extensive little town. Certainly one of the largest we've seen. Larger than any I've seen in Altis. I want to pull down just a little bit. Or seen in Stratus, I should say. Look at this. Can you imagine some of the engagements that can happen in here? There's a lot going on right there. And no skyscrapers, really. I mean, you have these, looks like 5-story buildings over here. But for the most part, that is hardcore, in-your-face infantry action. And I definitely think that we're going to see, hopefully anyway, some of the diving aspects of Arma 3 come into play. Because in Stratus, it felt like you just had the coastal areas along the outside. And if you weren't around the outside, there was no real advantage to, you know, an assault by water. But here we have this little gulf coming right up the center. We see reoccurring elements of that. So, it could happen. Uh-oh. And that's exciting. I wonder what the purpose of that little area is. Oh, we'll see. This definitely feels very large. You can see this is really pushing the limits of my system. I'm teetering right around 30 frames per second on Ultra. And I'm definitely getting some skips here and there. So here we are at that airfield. What is going on over here to our right? Solar panels. Interesting. I could definitely see some missions that use those as objectives, whether it's to defend or destroy. And here we have your typical airbase. Not seeing anything that really sticks out to me. Except for this little area right here. I want to land and see. This is a new building with a parking lot. Look at that. We're just going to land and see what's going on over here. This is an interesting building. And I'm not sure what to think of it. But if you can have the building here, I mean, one of the things they were talking about is being able to have more controls over buildings. So having a building like this at our disposal when it comes to building missions and stuff is pretty cool. I definitely like the layout. It's new. So when it comes to mission types like King of the Hill and stuff, we're not dealing with the same type of building over and over and over. It's definitely interesting. Now, is there a way to get on this roof with these solar panels? No, but there's a way to get stuck. Never fails in Arma. Okay. Actually, there it is. Open up. Open up. This is cool, man. I'm very happy with this so far. I mean, I think we were barely scratching the surface as far as mods and missions on what could happen with Stratus. But to throw this into the mix, it looks like it's a copy of the other side of the building, which is still cool. But to have this as at our disposal as well, I think it's going to be interesting. Let's get back in our helicopter and see what other points of interest we can find. So, two things that I like so far is before we came over that gulf, there was this city right here. Very cool. And there's a lot more scattered about. Let's see if I can't find one that's larger. Look at the size of that. Let's go check out what's going on over there. Looks like some interesting buildings. Alright, so we're seeing some warehouse looking type buildings. They don't look entirely too different. This is an interesting little area over here. A lot of cargo areas. That building right there looks a little interesting. I'm looking for a lot of variation though. I mean, when I'm talking about this building looks interesting, that building looks interesting, it's because I know that you can pick those up in the editor and place them elsewhere. Maybe create some very interesting areas of your own that are highly customizable. So really that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for very interesting areas because I know those are going to be points of interest in their creation of missions. And I know that's what they had in mind when they created these. Each of these little spots is just a little playground that you can do something with, whatever you want. That's the beauty of Arma. People have a hard time wrapping their heads around what it is that Arma does for people. You know, there's no real single-player mission to speak of, at least when the game first comes out. So what's the appeal of Arma? And the way that I like to put it is that Arma is a platform. It is not necessarily a game type. Think of it like Dungeons and Dragons. The guys who came up with the rule set and everything that needs to happen with Dungeons and Dragons. They didn't create, you know, the different quests and adventures that everybody goes on. That's up to the dungeon master. They just write the rules and create the platform for you to enjoy that particular game on. And I think Arma plays the same way. They create the playground. You decide what you're going to do on the playground. And I really think that's the number one thing people have a hard time wrapping their head around coming from games like Battlefield or Call of Duty, is that those are very much set for you, where the developers have control over your experience. And in Arma, it's completely opposite. You and the mission editors and creators are in control of the experience. And they just try and make it as cool as possible with as many opportunities as possible, and in a platform that is very realistic and easy to manipulate. They need to do some work on the manipulation part, because I can tell you, man, it's challenging getting into creating my own server and trying to manipulate PBO files and get things to play like you would like them to play in a multiplayer mindset. It's challenging, but it's all possible. It's all highly customizable. You just need to wrap your head around it and learn the code, learn the language. So here we're coming up on that much larger city as it seemed on the map. This city is called Kavala, I believe. And just kind of seeing everything. Look at the size of this. I mean, this could be a game type all its own. You know, Op 4 on this side, Blue 4 on that side, Independents scattered in between. Just take as much territory as you can. This is a humongous little area right here, with very few buildings that. Ooh, this is new. I want to check out the hospital and a castle. Say what? We're gonna check that out too. But right now, I'm interested in the layout of this hospital. with a nice little helipad on top for us to land on. So we're going to do that. God, just look at this. So many possibilities and paved roads. Woo, we love paved roads. That means convoys can move that much faster. From a Wasteland perspective, you can get to objectives that much quicker. It is going to be crazy. Alright, balance it out. I'm still trying to get better with Arma helicopters. It is a challenge, for sure. Not to suck. Uh-oh. Had a little pause there. And now we can get out. Looks like it's going to teeter-totter right there because I put the tire right on that back edge. But we should be fine. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Let's check this place out, man. This is cool. Are these doors open? Oh, that's disappointing. Come on. Let me open the doors. Let me get inside of this place. Ah, come on. Attention to detail. That's disappointing. Okay, well, let's see what else is available on this building type. I mean, I thought it was cool you could land on the hospital. But they need to put some serious attention into detail. If you're going to put a cool building like this, it's not that hard to hollow it out and let me go inside. That's frustrating. What's this little area right here? Can you even go on the ground floor? You can go on the ground floor. What is the problem? See? Cool little ground floor. But they're going to stop you when it comes to going to the second, third, and fourth floor. It just doesn't make sense. I'm not even asking for them to make the elevators functional. I mean, it's a beautiful space. I mean, can you imagine some of the engagements that you could get? You know, some of the objectives that that could force you into these engagements against the other team. It'd be outstanding. But we're limited because this is the platform we are given, and the platform doesn't allow the second or third floor. That's enough complaining about the hospital. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. I know this is a lot to develop, and I am grateful that it's available, that a game like this is out there. I truly am. But if you're gonna do it right. But that's okay. We're gonna head over to this castle because that looks pretty damn awesome as well. These are all very familiar building types that we also see on Stratus. So I'm not gonna put too much attention into those. That's a cool looking windmill over there. You see that? That's really old school. I like that. And that's an interesting... No binos. You see that over there? I'm wondering what that is. Is that like a military building of some sort? Looks interesting. But now we're going to check out the castle. Again, this is Kavala that we are at. Kavala. And we're going to Castro Castle. If we can take off without crashing. Yeah, alright. I was worried about that tire getting stuck on that fence behind us.
100 meters, 1 o'clock.
Not sure what that was. Okay. Nice little stairs leading up to the castle. I'm telling you, if you were to build a base in Wasteland, I think everybody's going to fight over this thing. I mean, look at this. This is awesome. Fortified on all sides. Few entrances. Few high mountains around it for snipers to snipe. And I'm not sure if it has vehicle access or not. That would be the deal breaker right there. It looks like you can fit some vehicles in there. But I'm not sure about the transport carriers. That looks pretty narrow. And does it have a pier behind it? No, it doesn't seem like it. So, you know, there's some good things and bad things if you were to use this as a base in Wasteland or any other mission. Let's see if there's any other points of interest. I might call it there. There's more to see here. Make sure I'm not crashing. Definitely more to be seen. A lot going on this island, but as far as first looks, as far as a quick glance at this thing, I am happy with it. There's obviously a lot more variation in the landscape type, and the building types, and the different areas that you can mess with and play with and get into engagements with, and I definitely think it's going to be welcome. I was worried it was just going to be a copy of Stratus ×3, and that's certainly not the case. We see elements that are reoccurring. Here's the very famous beach umbrellas that we see in a lot of thumbnails. Reoccurring elements, but there's also a lot new going on, and I really think people are going to see the difference when it comes to the gameplay, when it comes to the different missions that come out of this thing. A lot less mountainous, a lot more open, but there does seem to be some balancing factors as far as the amount of areas available for a sniper to take advantage of that open area. So we'll see. Tell me what you think of the new Altis area, the new Altis island in Arma 3. Is it what you expected? And if it isn't, what would you like to see more of? But that's all I have for this particular video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Sergeant Merrell, out here.